Good morning, guys. Welcome to Mug Briefing. Microsoft is preparing a quiet but important change to how millions of people sign in at work. The company plans to automatically move its enterprise identity system, called Microsoft Entra ID, toward passkeys, a newer login method designed to replace passwords. The shift starts rolling out in March 2026, and unless IT administrators step in ahead of time, Microsoft will apply a default passkey setup for them. In simple words, this is not Microsoft deleting passwords overnight. It's Microsoft changing the default direction of travel. The company is trying to make passwordless sign-in the standard starting point instead of an optional extra. That matters now because organizations have a limited window to decide how they want this configured before Microsoft's automatic migration window begins. Here's what actually happened. On January 23, 2026, Microsoft sent an official operational notice to enterprise customers through its Microsoft 365 Message Center. The notice explained that Entra ID, the identity platform used by many U.S. businesses and government organizations, is moving to a new system called passkey profiles. These profiles control how passkeys are allowed and managed across an organization. General availability begins in early March 2026. That means the feature becomes fully released and ready for production use. After that, from early April through late May 2026, Microsoft plans to automatically enable the new profile model for tenants that haven't opted in themselves. Separate government environments, GCC, GCC High, and Department of Defense tenants have a slightly shifted schedule, but they are included in the plan. Nothing is being forced on organizations today. This is a future rollout that has been officially announced, and the dates come from Microsoft's own service message. Timelines in cloud rollouts can shift. Microsoft sometimes adjusts windows, but the migration plan and schedule are confirmed, not rumor or speculation. During the automatic enablement, Microsoft does not wipe out existing authentication policies. Instead, current FIDO2 passkey settings are moved into a new default passkey profile. A new setting called passkey type is applied based on how the tenant is already configured. If an organization requires hardware attestation, meaning stricter device verification, the system defaults to device-bound passkeys only. If not, it allows both device-bound and synced passkeys. Existing login methods, including passwords and other multi-factor options, continue working. This is an expansion and reorganization of controls, not a shutdown of legacy access. That's why this change is best described as both a security rollout and a feature rollout. It introduces new administrative structure while pushing adoption of a security technology Microsoft believes reduces phishing risk. Microsoft's documentation cites improved sign-in success and speed with synced passkeys, but like any security tool, they are not magic. Passkeys lower exposure to phishing by design, yet they do not guarantee immunity from every attack. The expected reduction in password-related incidents is a projected outcome based on industry testing and Microsoft's internal data, not a legally guaranteed result. The help desk impact is also an expectation, not an official Microsoft promise. When login prompts change, support tickets usually spike. IT departments tend to see confusion whenever authentication flows are updated. Microsoft's message focuses on configuration mechanics, but operational experience suggests there will be a short learning curve for both administrators and end users. So why is this happening now? The simplest explanation is industry momentum. The tech sector has been trying to move away from passwords for years because passwords are cheap to steal and expensive to manage. Passkeys use cryptographic keys stored on devices instead of shared secrets typed into websites. Apple, Google, and Microsoft have all aligned around this model. By 2026, Microsoft appears confident enough in ecosystem support to make passkeys the default posture rather than an optional experiment. This is partly about security and partly about convenience. Passkeys are designed to be faster and harder to phish. It also strengthens Microsoft's identity ecosystem because Entra ID becomes the center of how organizations manage modern authentication. Some critics may view tighter ecosystem integration as platform lock-in. Supporters argue it simplifies security by reducing fragmented login systems. Both interpretations come from the same fact. Microsoft is consolidating identity around a standard it strongly supports. Who benefits and who carries risk depends on the organization. Large enterprises gain a stronger default security posture, but they must invest time in planning the migration. Smaller IT teams may feel more pressure because they have fewer staff to test changes. Synced passkeys, which rely on Apple or Google Cloud Key Sync, could give those platform providers indirect influence over how employees authenticate across devices. That doesn't hand control of enterprise identity to Apple or Google, but it does increase dependence on their secure device ecosystems. For American workers, this likely means login prompts at work will gradually favor passkeys over passwords or app codes. Most employees will not need new hardware if they already use modern phones or laptops, but older devices or outdated operating systems could require upgrades. In the short term, IT costs may rise due to training, documentation updates, and support load. In the medium term, fewer password resets and phishing incidents could reduce ongoing support costs. Microsoft's strategy signals a long-term commitment to passwordless infrastructure as a core business direction. It's important to say what this does not mean. Passwords are not disappearing in March 2026. Microsoft is not removing all other authentication options. This change does not instantly make every account phishing-proof, and it does not apply to personal Microsoft accounts used at home. This is an enterprise identity configuration shift, not a consumer mandate. What happens next will depend on how smoothly early adopters transition. Organizations can prepare ahead of time by opting in and configuring their own passkey profiles. They cannot permanently block the structural migration, but they can control how it is shaped inside their tenant. Some companies may temporarily roll back specific settings if compatibility issues appear, especially with older internal systems. Large rollout failures could push Microsoft to adjust pacing, which has happened in past cloud migrations. Authentication standards are also an area regulators increasingly watch, so future compliance rules could influence timelines, though nothing currently indicates intervention. The signals to watch are practical ones. If Microsoft publishes revised rollout dates or emergency guidance, that suggests friction. If enterprise administrators report widespread login problems during early general availability, rollout speed could change. If Apple or Google announce deeper integration tied to enterprise passkeys, that would reinforce the ecosystem shift. And if Microsoft begins de-emphasizing passwords across more of its products, it would confirm that this is part of a larger identity strategy, rather than a one-off update. Stepping back, the story is straightforward. Microsoft is reorganizing Entra ID around passkeys and making that the default starting in March 2026. Administrators still control their environments, but the default direction is clearly passwordless. The change reflects an industry push towards stronger authentication, and it carries short-term adjustment costs alongside long-term security goals. For most people, the visible effect will simply be new login prompts and fewer passwords over time. The significance is not that passwords vanish overnight, but that one of the world's largest enterprise identity systems is formally pivoting away from them.